So hello everybody and welcome to today's episode of this Property Life podcast. I'm joined by James Horgan in the studio today. James is a seasoned investor who manages to hold down a full-time job, a young family, and also invest in out of area and a little bit in area as well. So welcome, James. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, Sarah. Yeah, it's Friday, so getting towards the end of the week, which is good. So looking forward to a bit of a break the weekend. But as you said, yeah, young family, we're actually moving house, our own house as well, personally. So that's really busy. But plus, yeah, the full-time job as well, trying to keep all those plates spinning. But good overall.
Yeah, and also obviously investing in various parts of the country. Whereabouts are you investing at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment I've got investments in sort of home counties around London, Corby. But in terms of my main focus over the last few years has been Wales, sort of South Wales and Mid Wales, depending on the strategy. So yeah, Wales has been my focus for a combination of reasons, really. Yeah, I mean, there's just general really good demand in Wales for rental housing, and that sort of first attracted me in terms of buy to let in investment. And then more recently, I've been looking at service accommodation models, as well as larger commercial to residential models. And yeah, obviously Wales has its own government and a slightly different approach to things. So it's important to understand the local environment. But there's some really interesting kind of local things taking place in Wales, which I think makes it interesting and attractive.
Yeah, I mean, they are one of those governments that tends to take the first step in a lot of different legislation. And over the years, we've seen Wales go first and go quite hard on some regulations. Scotland then kind of follows suit in a manner. And England, I think, tend to sort of sit back, look at it all, and perhaps do a bit of a half-assed attempt at some of it. But yeah, so Wales has brought in some big regulations over the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah, that's true. But as I said, I mean, the fundamentals are there. Demand is strong, and one of the key things that benefited Wales was just the removal of the toll on the Severn Bridge. I mean, that had a really big impact, and it's a few years now. A few years ago now, but effectively, all of a sudden, people paying higher rents or higher property prices in England just over the bridge effectively flooded into Wales, and now potentially commute back into England for their jobs. So cities like Newport, Cardiff, Swansea, and the valleys saw that fundamental increase in demand. But yeah, as you say, so I mean, just on the buy-to-let front, there's a wave of new compliance and regulation at the moment for buy-to-let, which I'm being contacted about in terms of upgrading fire alarm systems, etc., and basic specifications. From an SA perspective, and I've got a project happening in Mid Wales at the moment. Yeah, the Welsh government have come down quite hard on amateur Airbnbers, and effectively looking to tax them out of existence, really. So again, by taking a more professional approach, I'm able to navigate around those issues. But fundamentally, if there's a reduction in supply, that's great for me in terms of a new SA provider, because I'll be providing supply, new supply into a restricted market.
I think that supply and demand is, it's the foundation of everything that we do, essentially. So tell us about that new project.
Yeah, so it's basically it's a closed hotel at the moment, and what attracted to me initially is it's a mixed use building. It's retail on the bottom, and a closed hotel on the main building, and then there's sort of two other connected buildings. But when I first went to view the property, I could see basically the value in having the retail element in the purchase, and it's a tier one tenant. They're in there for 10 years. So when I was appraising, the value of the whole deal, having that basic element in the deal I thought was fantastically valuable. So I've leveraged off that really. I've split the title on the property. I'm using the retail element to effectively fund, over 2/3 of the purchase, leaving the rest of the property, which is substantial, not unencumbered, but I'm getting that element of the property for a very low cost. So that enables me to refurbish the closed hotel. So initially, the first phase will be 10 rooms. It'll be a smart hotel, or be an apart hotel. So each room will have self-catering facilities.
So who's your main guest avatar going to be?
Yes, that's really interesting. So I mean, there's some few unique features for Wales, and again, I've done a lot of analysis around the demand and used a few online tools such as AirDNA to really examine the demand. But Bike Park Wales, which is just down the road in Merthyr Tydfil, is a really fantastic attraction. It's a national attraction basically, and it's attracting mountain bikers from around the country to stay in the region to experience a really fantastic facility. It's basically a ski resort for mountain bikers with lifts and guides, and it's a really fantastic facility. But the key problem is there's nowhere really to stay. Merthyr Tydfil is the closest town, and it really does lack any kind of overnight accommodation. Whereas my property in Brecon, just up the road, Brecon is a thriving, established tourist resort. So yeah, one of my key avatars will be bikers and cyclists. So my hotel will have a dedicated bike storage area, bike maintenance facilities. So that's one key market. And then you've got the traditional kind of tourist in the Brecon National Park. So it tends to be more affluent, 50 plus individuals, and they tend to stay for quite a long time in the region. So up to 2 to 3 weeks, and then they base themselves and explore the area. And again, I think by having that self-catering element to the accommodation is going to be super attractive as people look to manage their costs during the stay.
And you're really, you've defined that guest avatar and have designed a product that will suit them and get that all-important long-term booking in, which obviously reduces an awful lot of our linen costs, cleaning costs, just general transaction costs, which do make the short stay model a lot more attractive. And so, yeah, that sounds like a great deal. So when did you hope to have that open?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the final stages of the purchase. So I'm committed by the end of next week to exchange. So yeah, I'd hope to have that open in April, May. My builder's all ready to go and putting more pressure on me than I am on him. So yeah, it's once we can get it over the line, all the designs and plans are done. So it's ready to go once we get the green light.
So one of the questions that we're asking most of our guests now are, what 3 key behaviours do you think is important to have as a property investor?
You know what I mean? Super easy.
Go on.
Easy, Sarah. I mean, number 1 is discipline.
Yeah.
It's an everyday activity, and it should be, because this is what we do. This is ultimately our vocation, really. This is what we like to do, and where we like to achieve. And my normal day is deal with the baby first, make sure the baby is okay and looked after the first couple of hours of the day, then look after myself, try and do a bit of exercise. We're getting on a bit, getting towards 50, so making sure you're looking after your health and yourself is really important every day. then my next thought is property, and how do I move things forward, and just moving things forward 1 or 2 steps every day is super important, and it's the first thing I think of there. And in terms of the key steps, it's raising finance. You always need to be thinking about raising finance, thinking about it creatively, looking at the different options. Obviously, the world is transforming at the moment. The whole kind of macro environment is changing. Interest rates are changing. How people are investing is changing massively. So it's never really been a more important time to think about that, and think about what the options are. But at the end of the day, there's so much cash out there looking for a return, and getting a secured, safe return is an attractive offer for people who are looking to protect their cash from inflation, which is a massive problem. So that's number 1 on the priority list.
Yeah.
Number 2, finding deals. What is your pipeline of deals? Moving those deals forward, going through your historical deal pipeline, and nothing, we all know from property, nothing is certain until there's a signature, right? And I've probably got a pipeline of 4 or 5 large deals, and and some of them are stalled, and others are moving faster, and the priority of those deals changes all the time, because you're dealing with people, you're dealing with solicitors. You may not be getting the truth all the time, but you have to keep pushing through those deals to get to the truth, basically.
I guess your background in corporate and having a sales background for the last couple of decades, James, is probably borne you quite well in terms of that pipeline, because you do understand that the momentum has to keep going. So I think it's lots of people, when they have a big project on, they get so task orientated that the pipeline just falls off the back end. And if that particular project falls through for any reason, or even if it comes through and we complete on it, we've got nothing there in the background. So that pipeline, as you say, is a really important thing. And it can feel a bit scary though, can't it, when you've got quite a lot of balls to juggle and you've got a big project on and you're still negotiating and offering on other things, and you're like, what if they all come off? Oh my God.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, it's true. It can be really daunting to think, all right, why am I pushing myself to keep looking for deals when I'm so involved in the deals that are happening? But like you say, it's really important to keep that part of your job going, because otherwise your pipeline, it will dry up, and also you'll potentially lose momentum in that area, and to get the momentum back up once you've dropped the ball, again is a big effort to move it forward again to where it was. And I think also, I mean, and in terms of you're not committed until you're putting your money into the deal is the reality. So yeah, you can see what's out there, you can see what's possible, and very often once you see the wider opportunity, in some respects it makes you look at the deals that you're currently working on with different eyes, because often people get so emotionally attached to a deal because they think it's the best deal in the world, but actually there's 1,000 best deals in the world, isn't there? So
it really is. Yeah. So we've got discipline, and we've got keeping our pipeline completely full. What's your third characteristic?
I would say just leveraging your team. So again, as you get more and more experienced, you start to create a wider team that you can leverage off and focus your talents on the areas that you're good at. And for me, year on year, that's always changing and improving. So yeah, I just very recently I'm working with a really good builder who wants to get more and more involved with what I'm doing, and that enables me really to focus on the deal making, if you like, and allowing my partner to focus on the build element, which I'm not so experienced in. So I mean, just all the time, it's a people business, which is the great thing, I think. And you do establish really good and genuine relationships, which are mutually beneficial and valuable. So I really enjoy that part of it. You mentioned the corporate world, and often the corporate world can be difficult because the end product often is difficult to see or find when you're working within the corporate world, because you have so many layers and that is so big. Whereas when you're working with individuals on a very specific project and everyone knows their role, there's lots of satisfaction to be had from everyone in the team working together to achieve an end goal. So I do get a lot of sort of personal satisfaction from that element. But leveraging your team really is the third piece, really.
And if you were to look back now as yourself as that initial investor, what do you wish you'd have known then that you perhaps know now?
Probably my ego.
So okay.
thinking I knew it all and I could do it all and I didn't need anyone else. So dismantling my ego has been the most valuable thing I've done as an individual, and realizing I don't know it all and I do need help is probably what I'd like to have known before.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important one, because I think people do think that they, the property's not complex, and you buy something, you sell it, you rent it out, it's job done. And it isn't complex. It's definitely not rocket science, but it's hard. It is difficult. And I think it is made a lot easier when you are operating in the circles of other investors, power team members that are very experienced, and you just pick up little nuggets from all sorts of areas, don't you? And you go, oh, that sparked something in my brain, and maybe I could adapt that to my business in this way.
Yeah, I mean, the power of the wider team, and everyone is trying to move in the same direction, aren't they? And and therefore people do genuinely want to help and assist and help each other to move forward, because we're all in the same boat, really. But we're learning every day, basically, and the world is getting more complex and complicated, and it is fundamentally changing, I think. So there's never been a more important time, really, to be supported and connected, so that you can do things the right way, which maximize the benefit to yourself, I think.
Absolutely. And what do you think about the 20 miles per hour in Wales? How long is it going to take you to get to your investment area nowadays?
I'm not great
at cars.
Sorry?
You do love your cars as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. And I haven't got too many points at the moment. But I might have to sell my current car, because it might be a bit too fast for Wales. But I mean, it's just really, as you said, it's typical of the Welsh government, in terms of their general approach and philosophy. And clearly 20 miles an hour everywhere is very restrictive, and especially in the valleys. The towns are strange because of the topography of the area, but a little town in Wales can be just a very long road along a Welsh valley, which can be 5, 6, 7, 8 miles long, and if you're stuck at 20 for the entire area, it can be very tricky. But I mean, ultimately, safety first, isn't it? And we want to protect our towns. I think it's definitely a place for it, but probably not the default. But anyway, it's where we're going, I think, isn't it?
Well, James, I'll let you get on with the rest of your working week. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. If our listeners want to get in touch with you to learn out more about what you're doing, how's the best way to get in contact?
Yeah, probably Instagram. So James Horgan at James Horgan Property is where I tend to talk about that kind of stuff. So yes, that's the best place.
Fantastic, and good luck with the final bits of paperwork for your hotel in Wales. I'm really looking forward to getting that one opened and having a trip down with the family.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really look forward to that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, thank you so much, James.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye bye.